Hello, my name is Sami Lilja, and this is a lightning talk case against scaling. In any conference where I go, I always want to see and hear what is the beef, what is the point of this presentation. Now, since I only have about 10 minutes, I will show you the beef right away. So this is a beef, and this is a very special beef. This is artificially grown meat, and this costs about $300,000 just to get this piece of meat. You might wonder that, hey, this is great, this is wonderful idea. You see, the land for agriculture is getting smaller and smaller. We have more and more people who are eating meat. So creating artificial meat, that is great. I mean, a problem solved, isn't it? Except, of course, we are solving the wrong problem. We are eating too much meat. A healthy dose would be something like 300 grams per week, and we in Finland are eating 1.5 kilos. There is a link between cancer and eating excessive amounts of red meat. Creating artificial meat is a solution, but it's a solution to a wrong problem. It is a very different question whether we ask, are we running out of meat, or are we eating too much meat? The solution that we get differs very much on which problem we are solving. And I think scaling agile falls easily in the same dilemma. To my opinion, when we talk about scaling agile methods or applying agile methods in enterprise, we are solving a wrong problem. The problem is not that we lack ways of scaling agile, and the problem is not that we fail with agile in large organization. The problem is that we need to scale. The problem is that we have enterprises that fail to deliver. Size does matter in this case. So what is scaling and what is scalability? To my opinion, scalability, or how well things scale, relates to the cost of overhead when things get bigger. If there is fixed cost, every time we add a new resource, every time we add something, there is a fixed cost into that, then it's a linear cost of scaling. A sublinear case is such where adding new things will actually make the cost smaller. So these cases scale very well. And then there is superlinear area which does not scale. This is a case where adding a new person or adding one more unit of production causes increasing cost of overhead. And we can find all of these in real life. The green area is something we often call economy of scale. These are things that are, when you produce them, the more you produce, the cheaper they are. These are the factory type of things, more cars, more phones, whatever, the unit cost will get lower. At the other end, we have the economy of flow. And these things do not scale. Here we have always a novel problem to solve, a new thing, something that nobody has ever done before. This is knowledge work, especially collaborative knowledge work. So looking at this, in the green zone, we have highly repeatable work. We always ask how many of these you want. In the midsection, it is somewhat repeatable, but it will require some human element in that. That would be like a checkout counter at the supermarket or a help desk person helping you. The key here is that the person alone can complete the task that is at his or her hands. And then in the red zone, this work is not repeatable. As I said earlier, it is novel. And there the question is, what kind of service you want, what kind of product you want. We are solving complex problems, doing knowledge work. There are a couple of reasons for scaling, things that cause us to become big and even too big. And these reasons could be categorized in three camps. We grow in size, either the software or number of personnel grows. We grow in complexity, again, either the organization or software complexity grows. Or we grow in depth. We have more and more handovers in our organization. I don't have time to go into details of all of these things, but I just highlight a couple of titles that you might recognize in your own organization. When we talk about growing in complexity, there's of course Conway's law. Organizations are constrained to build products and solutions that reflect their communication structures. We also have a short-term project thinking. If you are creating a software project and you're running late, who cares about refactoring or test automation? Let's just do something, hope that the complexity won't kill us later. And then one tweet from Markus Hjort saying that software is usually built with a lot of people with poor tools than few people with great tools. When we grow in size, the most common argument is that we somehow believe in the economics of scale. We somehow believe that the green zone is reachable, that adding new people with some kind of magic would let us to have at least linear growth in cost. Another thing is failure demand. It is something that we fail to deliver. It's bugs or unwanted features or delays in delivery or whatever. This is often seen as a resource problem when it is actually a problem of design and management of work. And finally, there's a vicious circle that large projects require a lot of people that require large projects. So when you have a lot of people, you tend to create projects of 80 or 150 or 500 people instead of thinking that, hey, could I do this with 10 great professionals? And finally, we create silos. We put specialists in different parts of the organization. We assume that there is a very low cost handover, and as a consequence, we separate action, knowledge, feedback, and decision making. What is the way out? How can we fix this? It's all about thinking. Now, if we look at the items that I brought you earlier, which of these are such that you want to have in your organization? I don't think anybody wants to have these. These are consequences of something, consequences of thinking. And the good news is that none of these are laws of nature. We can get rid of these if we want. One final thought about solving the right problem. We have to keep in mind that we are engineers, so we are trained to solve problems. So what happens when we see a problem? We create 300,000 euro beef. Similarly, when we see organizational problems, we create solutions, we create processes, we create tools, we create visualization, we create technical advantages that would help us to cope with large organization. But that's not the case. That's what we should do. We should avoid scaling altogether. I leave you with this thought from Russell Aikoff, a systems thinker, and he has introduced 4 ways to deal with the problem. The first one is absolution. We do nothing. We just hope that the problem will go away. We hope that it was one-timer, so next time it won't happen again. A little bit more advanced is a resolution. We take something from our past that we hope that would work also here. You see, in my back in 1990s, when we wanted to have people talk together, we had meetings. Hey, how about we start having meetings now when people don't talk to each other? May or may not work, but provides very limited results. The third one is solution. We think a little bit further and we try to find a behavior in the current system that gives us the optimal result. The emphasis is on current system. The problem with solutions is that it does not change the system or the environment. The problem actually exists still. We just overcome it with some solution. So the most effective way to deal with this is this solution. Redesign the system or redesign the environment so that the problem goes away. But this is hard. Firstly, this requires thinking, a lot of new kind of thinking. Another thing is solutions and resolutions are easier to sell than dissolutions. Solution is a good business. Dissolution would be better for people, but it's not a good business. So I leave you with this. whenever you encounter a problem, before you start implementing a solution, think about if you could dissolve it, redesigning the system that the problem disappears.